We'll be looking at something very critical. On the 21st of September 2024, the people of Edo State went out to elect a new governor of the state. Senator Monday Okpebholo emerged as the governor who won the election after it has been declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. 12th of November 2024, he was sworn in as the governor of the state. Before that, he was the senator representing Edo Central Senatorial District at the National Assembly, the Senate precisely, while his deputy was the honorable member representing the Ovia Federal Constituency, who makes up of Ovia Southeast and Ovia Southwest and Ovia Northeast local government area. For the past 8 months, there have been vacancy in the senatorial seats and in the constituency. But the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the body saddled with the responsibility to conduct federal and state elections, has released timetable. Campaign has begun in earnest. The candidate has emerged. They are already campaigning. They are meeting the people, door-to-door campaign. Anyhow you want to call the kind of campaign, that's what they are doing already. Election scheduled for next week, Saturday, 16th of August, 2025. Ahead of the election, we'll be looking at the need for a credible poll when people have lost confidence. Somehow, a lot of persons have lost confidence in the electoral umpire or the electoral process. But do we see a possibility of the people of Edo Central and of Ovia Federal Constituency going out that day to vote? Let's make sense out of this. I have joining me a public affairs analyst, a political analyst, Benjamin Mayer, who joins me live via Zoom on the program this morning from Germany. Good morning, Benjamin, and good to have you on TMI this morning.
Good morning, my dear brother. Thank you for having me this morning.
All right, thank you for joining us. Okay, I know you are a stakeholder when it comes to politics in Edo Central, and I'm pretty sure you've followed, the process even up to this stage, and the election is next week. I could tell possibly, if possible, you might even fly down to come and vote to know how interesting or how daring that election is to you. But first, let's look at the time that has been spent, the vacancy that has been created since November 12th to today being 7th of August. By on the 12th of this month, it will be 9 months. There's been vacancy. The people of Edo Central has never had a representative for 8 months plus at the Senate, while the people of Ovia, the same thing has also happened. So nobody has been representing them in terms of bringing infrastructural development to the senatorial district and to the constituency. In your thought, don't you think the time was too long before the release of this timetable for the by-election? Let's start with that.
If the time was long, that's going to be another statement. It is something I've always imagined that, or that if you say that sometime the law of the Electoral Commission can be reviewed, the way and manner the by-elections in so many different states and in other constituencies are being organized and conducted. You see, in those 9 months that you talk about, it has been a vacuum of power, like in those positions for the House of Rep and the House of Senate in the Red Chamber, it has been vacant. And when you look at these two constituencies, or rather these two senatorial district and the other House of Rep constituents, it has been vacant. And the dividend of democracy, which was expected, have not been flowing down to the electorate at the grassroots level. And this has been a major concern that I know that even Nigerians will have been finding one way or the other to make sure the law is being amended. Well, you cannot blame INEC for what is happening. I believe they are following the rules and regulations of Nigerian Constitution. Whatever that is happening in Nigeria today, we always have to draw our attention to the idea of this is what the law says. This is what the Constitution says. So I believe they are following the Constitution. So all I'm saying is that the people who are the aim of affair by making laws and all that, like the House of Assembly, the National Assembly and the Senate, you'll be able to come up with electoral reform where all those things need to be addressed. Just like every other country in the Western world, where you see people or rather somebody maybe um, sudden event happen and unexpected events. For example, demise of a House of Rep or a senator and all that. Immediately, they will have a substantive a representative from that particular committee. He can decide to hold a brief pending when another election will be done. Like you said, if it was long or if it is long enough, I would say it is something that worries the people of Edo Central, and it's also the same thing that worries the people of Yal people, where the House of a representative who now is now the deputy governor of Edo State, where they resign, let me use that word, or whether they step down to campaign for a higher position. I think the National Assembly and the Senate, which is the right chamber, need to take a look into that direction, so that in subsequent by-elections, these things can be this situation can be avoided.
Okay. Let's now bring it down and start looking at the process in itself. The people of Edo Central, where you are from, one of the
Yeah,
local government that makes up that senatorial district. From
yeah.
your own point of view, do you foresee an election where, first of all, are the people even aware that there's going to be a by-election? Because it seems like nobody is talking about it. We're not seeing campaigns on medias like these media houses per se. Do your people in that senatorial district, do they even know that in the next 1 week, as the case may be, they'll be going to the polls to vote? Are they aware? Do they have the awareness and the consciousness that there's an election upcoming?
My dear brother, let me bring you to this particular point. I always push this narrative to the general public, although it's the fact and the truth. Edo people are one of the most electorally educated in Nigeria. We, the Edo people in general, we are very, very electorally educated. When it comes to election period and they know what is at stake and they know what is going to come next, you are not seeing the campaign on the social media or in other TV stations, just like our great ITV, where we are talking right now. Because it's a by-election and it has to do with a particular district. It's not a state election. That's the reason why we are not seeing most of those things. But you can be rest assured that the people of Edo Central are aware that the election is coming up on the 16th of August. And as you can see, if you have been a Twitter user, rather, which is now X user, Facebook, and the rest of other smaller social medias and blogs and all that, you see that you can see some candidate from different political party posting what they call the mosquito campaign. If despite that the campaign has actually not started within the rather they have not flagged off within themselves. But the APC, on the other hand, have already flagged off, and you can see that they're already campaigning from one place on it, preaching the same messages and all that. But that being said, the people of Edo Central are aware that election is coming up on the 16th of August to elect a senator that will represent the five local governments in the next 4 years, and the people are well prepared. They are ahead of it. Like that of like that of Edo Central. It is something that we call a bakota. A bakota is something that maybe let me explain it so that the people of Edo people can understand. A bakota in this language it simply means an agreement. You understand? So they already know this is the time to actually come out a month and vote for what they call the Bakota, the agreement that have already been made. Because when the current governor of Edo State, Senator Modo Paolo, was a senator, or rather when he was campaigning to become a senator of Edo Central, there was an agreement, and this agreement was made within the five local government of Edo State, Edo Central. So everybody is anticipating. Everybody in that Edo Central, we are waiting. We are all aware. We are prepared to carry out and to come out that day and vote massively for the people and for the person that we have already agreed on the Bakota. Thank you and God bless you.
All right. Let's look at the candidates that has been fielded by the political parties. The ADC have their candidate.
Yeah.
which is the person of Honorable Sergius Ogun.
Yeah.
The APC have their candidate, the person of Lee Ikbea, and the
Mm-hmm.
PDP also have their candidate, the person of Okoje. Looking at these three candidates per se, in terms of pedigree, would you really say the parties made the right choices in picking or in electing during their primaries? Let me not say selecting now because they did
Mm-hmm.
primary elections. In
Yeah.
electing them at the primary stage, that amongst all the candidates they have, these three men the parties have are the best hands they can bring out for the people to make their choice in between. I'm pretty sure other political parties are there, but these three seem to be the three on the forefront, the candidates.
Um, I will not be diving into all our political parties candidate like Wiley said. Let's focus on these three major political weight in Edo State at the moment. I would like to first of all start with the party where I am today, PDP. That was the person of Prince Joe Koje. You know, when I look around when the primary was being conducted, I look at myself. The three people that were on the ballot in the primary, um, they were qualified and they have all the prerequisites to say, okay, they are qualified to represent the good people of Eastern District. When you look at it on the other hand, when it comes to the issue of politics and idea of politicking, there are experience above experience and higher experience. And you also look at somebody who among them have actually paid his or her dues among the candidate then. And at the end of the day, Prince Joe Kuji emerged from that for that PDP primaries, which everybody in Assam was very happy about. I'm not saying other candidates weren't qualified; they were qualified. You know, the beauty of democracy is that um, the majority always win. And when the people have spoken and this will of the people must be respected. And now the Prince Joe Koje has been elected in the primary in the PDP, and yes, some people are already rallying around him because when you look at his own history, journey in Nigerian politics, starting from the grassroots level, he has been in politics for a very long time. I always say, I know people who have paid their dues in the sense that he have paid his dues in developing Edo State. He has paid his dues in joining the development of Edo State. He has paid the dues in joining moving Edo Central forward. He has paid his dues in helping all his sons and daughters abroad in his own little way that he can. You know, he's just he's an individual. I don't believe that he's going to be doing a massive and elephant project just like what the state government will do. That has been on the normal ground of where we look at all the candidates. But let me just touch the part of the APC a little bit. In the APC, would I say that was primary because I didn't see any other contender in their primary except the candidate that they have now. So I wouldn't want to say there were much election happening there because it was like something that they come into unanimous agreement to say, okay, this is who we are nominating and this is who we are going to support. So that is what they did. So when you look at the ADC, the same thing happened in ADC. I don't think ADC was having too much candidate compared to that of a competitive PDP primary election. So when you take a look at these three major political party in the next Edo Central Senatorial District election, you already know how tight it is. And let me also reawakening the mind of the people, especially the good people of Edo Central, that we have what is called a Bakuta, and we all understand this word. Urumi people have actually not had the opportunity of producing a senator in the history of democracy in Nigeria since democracy returned to Nigeria in 1999. And at this particular time, a lot of issues have also been coming up to say the people, agree to what was said. You know, we, the Edo Central, we are very united, very, very united. We believe in agreement. We believe in equity, fairness, and justice. And we believe that we are sending the right person at least to represent us in the red chamber, to represent the good people of Edo State in Edo Central in the red chamber. Somebody who can express himself, somebody who know what he's doing, somebody who have that mind to say, this is what I want for my constituent, this is what I want for my senatorial district. Somebody who can speak for the people of Edo State, somebody who have the interest of the people at heart. And that is why you see most of us are also saying Prince Joe Koje is who we all want to throw our weight behind. And we have done that for a very long time. And Edo people are already aware that this is who the Edo Central people want to be on the red chamber.
Okay, let's now draw closer to the electoral umpire because we're
Yeah,
looking at the credibility of the election. The
I understand.
umpire, which is the Independent National Electoral Commission, is the body saddled with the responsibility to conduct free, fair, credible, transparent, peaceful, all the words, election in
Yeah,
Nigeria. But it seemed like over the years, that agency of government saddled with that responsibility have lost its confidence on the people, especially with the outcome of the 2023 presidential election, even the last year's gubernatorial election in the state. So, do you foresee an election come next week where it's really going to not just said to be free, fair, credible, but to be seen expressly and manifestly by the people, by the those involved, whomsoever is declared the winner, they will say, oh, indeed, the person won. It will not be a case of after election petition tribunal, after tribunal, appeal court, after appeal supreme, and all those legal battles that always follows election.
yeah.
Looking at INEC, from your perspective, from your point of view, do you think the people can actually have confidence for a credible pool on Independent National Electoral Commission?
Thank you for this particular segment. I was actually waiting to throw more light on the, and thank you for bringing it up. INEC itself, as an electoral umpire, as an institution that government have created, is supposed to be an independent, have actually, in a recent election that have been conducted, how will I say, they have been underperforming, very, very underperforming in the sense that in this modern era where we have things that can be done in less than a second, less than a minute, they still pose themselves to be behavior, performing and organizing their activities and services that's supposed to render to the people of Nigerian in an analog style. Um, Judging by what we have seen so far, the trust that the people of the Nigerian, or rather the electorate of Nigerian have for INEC is very, very shaky. Very, very shaky because of what we have seen so far. I think INEC can actually step up the game. They can actually raise up the bar by emulating what is happening in the Western world, emulating what is happening in other African, good developing African countries. Um, if anybody tells you this cannot be done, you have something to show an example to them. INEC are not willing, they are not willing to yield to the recommendations and the ideas of the Nigerian people on how to step up the electoral process that will make their activities and their services more credible and accepted by the electorate. This is the problem that we have been having. And in the last general election, in 2023 general election, you saw what happened. In the last Edo 2024 election, you also saw what happened. That were allegations of manipulations and frauds of everywhere, and snatchings of ballot papers, snatching and destruction of ballot papers. And at the end of the day, you still find those results being counted without having an eyewitness, allegedly, to say this is what actually happened. And I think INEC need to create a particular system that will be able to put a stop to all these um, small leakages in their delivering their mandate that is being saddled with them. Well, in the next election in coming up this month in those central senatorial district election, I believe the good people of Edo Central will be able to vote and stand and defend their vote for the candidate that we have all agreed to vote for. That being said, you know, defending the vote is different, but INEC announcing the right vote is what matters. When INEC decide to pronounce a wrong candidate or rather pronounce um, a different result, that is where you start having this legal battle from the tribunal to the appeal court, from appeal court to the Supreme Court, and the rest of it. This is not good for election. This is not good for development. Because in the process of going to court here and there, dragging and all that, this legal battle and all that, development will be for stale, or rather, stales in a particular, it's like we're going to be in a static position. That means that looking at that particular direction, that INEC should announce who the people actually voted for. I will urge the good people of Edo Central in coming election and in after that, in 2027 election, is that they shouldn't just cast their vote and go home. For the sake of transparency, accountability, they should vote, stay behind, let the vote be counted in their present, and all of them should have a result sheet on their hand. Not just by having a copy of it, they should be able to say, this is what that was called in my polling unit, this is the candidate that won and all that. By the time all this is circulated, by the time they get to the coalition center and all that, nothing will be easy for them to manipulate. I'm not saying that all the candidates are going to win in all the polling units. There are strongholds. But what we are saying is that in the Edo Central, that is what we call Ebakota. Ebakota simply means that this time, the Edo State, Edo Central Senatorial District election is going to be of that of power going to a particular direction because it was from Edo, it was from Eastern Central. Now we are all saying that it should come to Eastern Northeast. That has always been what we have agreed in Edo Central. And I hope and pray that the INEC do the right thing. The INEC will be able to come forward and conduct a credible election, and they will not be influenced by the ruling party, and they will not be influenced by any external forces or external influence. Let the people speak and let INEC announce the voice of the people.
Okay. Um, we're still in the conversation, but we have to go on a very short break, Benjamin. When we return from the break, we will now be looking at the process in itself. Nigeria's election over the years have been bedeviled with vote buying, intimidation, and all that. We'll look at all that when we return from this short break. Stay with us. It's the TMI on ITV Network. All right, thank you so much for staying with us on the program TMI, reaching you on independent television. And here in Benin Network Center, we'll be looking at ahead of the National Assembly by-election in Edo State, which has been scheduled for next week, 16th of August, 2025. We're looking at the need for a credible poll, the need for a credible election. My guest who joins me from the diaspora, Benjamin Mayo, who will be analyzing and taking a critical look at the process, how the process should be, reasons why the process should be free, fair, credible, and the outcome, the people should also accept it. So Benjamin, before we went on the break, we talked about one of the umpire, which is INEC, that have the major responsibility. But before I go to the next question, let's look at another umpire, which is the security agencies and some other bodies that works with INEC. Over the years, there's been allegation as well that the security agencies, the police, or any other security agencies attached, they've also been indicted by the people, that they are also part of the one of the people who also make the process looks clumsy in order for the right outcome not to come out. In terms of the security agencies, I'm pretty sure you will have an advice for them as well, or something to say about the security agencies, because without security, the people cannot have the full confidence to go out, to go cast their ballot. So let's look at the security agencies before we go to the people, the electorate themselves.
Let's start by saying the security agencies that have been deployed in the previous election have been doing less from what we expected from them. You are a law enforcer. When you try to enforce the law, I know there are always a pushback from different quarters. For example, most influential people in our societies and all that. Because one person is connected to somebody, is connected to somebody. I understand. That is how the situation in Nigeria looks like. You know, in last 2 weeks or three or thereabout, there have been an agitation that the security agency should be well heeled and their welfare should also be well taken care of. Because when a security personnel is being underpaid and he has wife and has kids at home and he has no special package for his or her children to go to school, when it comes to healthcare and all that, they don't have a special insurance that covers them. They are just like every other normal civilian. So when they get the opportunity of doing what is not supposed to be done, and that temptation of not doing it is very rare. I think there are still there are still integrity among some of them who are still in the service. I've seen a lot of them, couple of them who will say, I will not do this. This is what the law says. This is what the law did not say. They will pursue to the ledge. I've also seen some people, some of these officers who have voluntarily resigned because they cannot carry out um, their constitutional service or job given to them to do for that. Sending them to the electoral election day on a polling unit to go and conduct an election, I know it's very difficult for them to go there and just do as if they didn't say anything. My advice for them is that integrity still pays. No matter what it is, no matter how hard the economy is right now, please and please, when you want to have a good pay, when you want to have all the social amenities as a serving officer, it starts from the polling unit. That is one thing I want you guys to understand. Whether you are a civil defense officer, whether you are a police officer, whether you are a DSS, whether you are a army, civil, air force, the Nigerian army and the navy and the rest of it, or even the road safety and other local vigilantes. I want you guys to understand that when you elect the right candidate, when you allow the right candidate to be elected, you didn't take any bribe to look other way, or rather, ballot box is being snatched in your presence because you have been given some unconstitutional incentive, your pay will be agitated for in the House of Assembly. People that will come forward to say, no, my police is being underpaid, my escort is being underpaid. This thing will continue to expand and you will have more voice that is campaigning for you, that is agitating for you that your salary should be increased. Let's come to this thing. For example, you go to a police unit that day as a police officer, and 200,000 is given to you in the police unit. This is just my imagination. Let's imagine it this way. And you guys are 7 or 5 persons in that particular unit, and you guys share. I bet you cannot take home not less than 20,000. Ask yourself, what can 20,000 buy for you in the market of today? Can 20,000 solve your problem today and tomorrow? No. But don't forget, the person that gave her that 200,000 is already losing 200,000. Is going to lose another 200,000. Paraventure is able to get to that particular seat. All he's going to be saying is that, let me first of all recover from where I get it from to pay all the police officers and all that. So they will have this mindset that no matter what you do for the police, to the Nigerian police, they will still be corrupt. Me as a person, I don't see it that way. There are still credible police officers out there. And I want you all who are having two options to emulate the ones who have been rewarded for a selfless service for the nation and also be among the people that will repair this country. Because the economic hardship of today and the bad name that is currently prevailing in the entire country is not just only on civilians, it's also affecting you. You don't know have a special market where you buy rice and the civilian have a special market where they buy their rice, or where you buy bread and they buy that. But when you buy fuel on your car and they buy that fuel on the car, we are all living in the same economy. We are all experiencing what is happening. Please, I want to beg every officer that will be posted out there, do the right thing, Let the people cast their vote. Do not allow any group or persons or political talk to disenfranchise other party members, other party faithfuls, or by hearing this word, if you are not ready to vote for this particular party, don't just come out. Carry out your job. Carry out your job in the sense that arrest those who are erring, arrest those who are trying to bring confusion in the election, while the election process is on and after. That is your duty. Because Nigerians are kind of losing interest, or rather, don't have any interest in the electoral process because the people most of you have arrested in less than 1 or 2 weeks, we see them on the street, see parading themselves as a normal human being, which is supposed to be behind bars, charged for one thing or the other. So these are the issues that affect a police officer going to the street on that election day to monitor and secure the election. Please and please, this is what is necessary to be done, and we have to start, and we have to start now. There is nothing like tomorrow I will start. It is this election we can use as to make an example to say it is possible that we can do it.
Okay, let's now look at the electorate. You've talked about the security agencies and the umpire, which is also a part of the umpire put together. The electorate
Exactly.
themselves, like you mentioned, the highest any politician can give to an electorate of the Nigerian today, of today's Nigeria, the highest, could be, let's say, 20,000 naira. Now, the
Exactly.
electorate, who are the people who are who the power belongs to, like the Constitution has said, that the power belongs to the people. That is why they say sovereignty belongs to the people. They are the ones who go there to vote. The candidate can only vote for himself once, but the electorate have the larger number of votes, more than one electorate. You have thousands or millions of electorate. Talking about the electorate now, we've seen cases where the conscience of the electorate have been bought. When I say be bought now, on the field of election, party A comes with a higher amount. Somebody already have the mind to vote for party B, for instance, because party A is the head, or they say they are giving out so and so some. They buy their conscience. They leave the person they are supposed to vote for, who they know is the candidate that can give them the dividend of democracy when he or she eventually gets there. But the candidate have their own, the electorate rather, have their own bigger problem. Let's look at the electorate. You just said though people are not people you can intimidate, though people are educated people, though people are smart people. But now let's look at the Edo people in Edo Central and in Ovia Federal Constituency. Do you feel these people can resist the temptation of collecting that little sum? Like I said, highest they can get, anybody can get from, an electorate can get from today's politician in an election, highest could be 20,000, just like you mentioned earlier, probably for the security agencies. Do you feel is what their vote, dividend of democracy? 8 months has gone by in the senatorial district and the constituency without representation. So normally one would expect that the person that will come in, that is coming, or that will eventually be declared the winner, will double up infrastructural development. The 8 months that has been lost will be brought back. But do you think the people will have the conscience enough to vote appropriately without being bought, without their conscience being bought with highest 20,000 naira?
If you can recall, you remember when I said the root of all what is happening is poverty.
Yeah.
What most of our leaders have done is to impoverish the electorate. That is what most of them have done. That is why you see they don't look at what would benefit the electorate, that will make them an average Nigerian, financially stable, and the rest of it. Like I said, though people are well educated, when it comes to the issue of politics and electing a candidate, we are electorally very, very educated. Um, I've seen some situation in Nigeria, especially in that of Edo in 2024, where some political party were sharing money allegedly, and the electorate went ahead and voted their candidate of their choice. You understand what I'm saying? They still went ahead and voted the candidate of their choice. But when you look at this is the way I say INEC have been slacking and they have been lacking in carrying out their activities. You cannot conduct an election and not put a mechanism in place that will checkmate vote buying and how to mitigate it and how to even stop it totally. All those things are not there. When these things are happening, INEC will say it is not part of their responsibility. The security agency was supposed to have done their job. Most of them, sometimes, they are an accomplice, allegedly. When you also look at the other way around, the people who are the electorate, who have been in the village for like 1 or 2 years now, they have not seen anybody who have come to them to dash them 20,000 naira, to dash them 10,000. They would like to take. That is what we have experienced in the past election. So when you come to think of the temptation, how can we abort or rather avoid being accomplice and taking bribe and voting for somebody else or vote buying another? It is very easy. It is very easy. We will continue to re-educate the people. We'll continue to re-educate people to remind them the danger that they are creating for their unborn children and great-grandchildren. Because this thing did not start today. It started since democracy returned to power in 1999. When you look at that 1999 election, it was kind of a little bit very free and fair, but a lot of things also didn't go as planned. I'm not saying every election process is going to be just 100% perfect. Even in America, it's not always perfect. That is one case. What we are saying as a Nigerian, as the good people of Nigerians, let us have a situation where we have lesser problems, lesser issues like vote buying and all of that. I think the security agency have a lot of job to do by arresting anybody who is found wanting, coming to the polling unit or hiding somewhere with money to come and buy vote on the election day. When these people have been arrested, even a day before the election, they can have the information. Oh, people are going around from house to houses, buying the conscience of the electorate and all that. These people can be arrested and persecuted. If one is arrested and persecuted, other people will desist from doing the same thing. Let me remind you, let me bring something to your notice. In the Western world, there is something that we Nigerians are afraid of, not being arrested. Because when you are arrested for one crime, that crime, even when you are free from it, even when you serve your jail terms, even when you pay your fine and all that, you are now working as a free man. But in document, you are not a free man. That stays in your document. It stays in your record. Wherever you go, wherever they thumbprint you, anytime, any day, they control you, it shows that you have committed so crime. Until Nigerians begin to look at that direction, saying, how can we curb criminality and crime in Nigeria? It will keep increasing. You see somebody that has been arrested today for electoral violence, for electoral crime, for the ballot box snatching, for vote buying. In the next election, you start. And these people are well organized. You will find them in every police unit. But what I'm trying to let the Edo people know, especially the Edo Central, that this election is very crucial. Very crucial in the sense that we must not allow the ruling party, which is the APC, to intimidate PDP or to intimidate another smaller party on the election day. They have the federal mind, they have the state mind, they even have the local government mind. They have the security agencies around them. But what we are saying is that we must let these people know that the power belongs to the people, and the people have that power to say this is who they want them to vote in. I've sent my message across the 5 local governments, begging especially the youth to tell them, let us join hands together and elect Prince Joe Okoje. I have my reason why I'm saying let us join hands together and elect Prince Joe Okoje. I've seen what he has done since he joined the Nigerian politics and what he's still doing, especially most of us who are youth, who he has touched our lives and is still touching our lives positively. I know where I grew up from and I know where I'm coming from. I am from Uromi, and I can tell you one word or the other, that man has contributed to my well-being. And I know thousands of Nigerian youth who are not even just from Edo State that this man, in one way or the other, have helped. And not just that, he wants the development of Edo people in general, he have it at heart. And we must not let vote buying ring in any other political party to use vote buying to ring him out from the ballot on the election day. That is why I'm
Okay.
calling on the Edo people to come together
Benjamin,
to make,
we're
yeah,
pressed for time. We have less than 2-3 minutes to go. Your
yeah,
advice to the candidates, whosoever emerges the winner, whosoever does not emerge the winner, what will be your advice to the candidate, the three major political parties now, the ADC, the APC, the PDP? Like I said earlier, 8 months of representation has been lost in both
exactly.
the senatorial district and the federal constituency. So whomsoever wins means that the person have more work to do. That 8 months that has been lost, the person have
Yeah,
to work harder to make sure that 8 months the people get the dividends of democracy for that space that has been created for the past 8 months. In less than two
exactly.
minutes, your advice to whomsoever emerges the winner at the end of the day, and whomsoever doesn't emerge the winner, so we don't have cases of court today, petition tribunal tomorrow, and all that. Put that together as we wrap it up.
Let me say it this way. I don't have any much to advise, just for me to remind the people of Esan of Bakota what we have all agreed. Um, I know Prince Jokoje is going to come out from this election very, very victorious because we know in the Eastern land we have already agreed that the Senate must go to the Uromi, must go to the Eastern Northeast. That being said, and I'm urging the candidates of the APC, of the ADC, and other political party to join hands together and work with Prince Joe Koje to make sure the people of Edo State and Edo Central vote for him on that election day. And after the election, they should come out together and congratulate him because the issue of going to court from here and there and all that is still development in a particular region, and we don't want that to happen because we have already lost 8 months from the federal government and the development that is flowing down. Please
Okay.
and please come out on that day and vote for our dear brother, our 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 son that we have all agreed to vote for, Prince Joe Koje, a candidate of the PDP who is going to be representing Edo Central in this in the red chamber. Thank you and God bless you all.
All right, thank you very much, Benjamin Mayo. I want to thank you for your time on the program this beautiful Thursday morning, joining us on the program. We appreciate you for your time with us this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's the size of our package on TMI from Benin Network Center. We've been taking a critical look ahead of the forthcoming by-election for National Assembly, Edo Central and Ovia Federal Constituency. The need for a credible pool, the need for an election that the people will see as a free, fair, peaceful, credible, and the election that everybody will in turn come out to celebrate at the end of the day.